I'm Tamara.
And I wasn't ready. I still had a sticker in my mouth. I'm Rel. Hello.
You've been through some stuff recently.
Been through some things. Seen some stuff.
Good and bad, right?
Yeah, actually. So I crashed my car, like hydroplaned on 95. That was fun. Slammed into the concrete wall. Totaled my beautiful Kia Soul. But we're all good. We're all okay. And then I went on vacation. And I got to see my favorite band in the world play their last show.
Which your favorite band is?
My favorite brand? What?
Your favorite band?
My favorite band is NoFX. And oh my God, it was such a good show. And I blew out my voice. I threw out my back.
It sounds
so
hot.
Like the last, like the days after the show, I was like, I could barely fucking move, but it was so worth it. And like Matt had to like be my bodyguard because I was like fucking jamming out so hard. I was just like getting in everybody's fucking space, and I was just like, why isn't anyone dancing?
Oh wow! I thought it would be the exact
Tamara,
opposite.
do I have videos to show you?
Oh, good.
It's horrifying. Oh my God, it was such a good time. We went with my brother and my sister-in-law, and they had such a good time, and we just like explored Orlando, and and now I'm back to work, and I have a cold because I overdid it with having fun.
Yeah, you played too hard.
Life had to bring me back down. Yeah. Get on our level here. You're back to misery. How's things been? You been holding down the fort?
No.
Okay.
Everything that could have gone wrong went wrong.
Did you get robbed?
That's not true. No. I just
that's
had a series of like things going wrong.
Did someone poop themselves? It could be so much worse, Tamara.
So, the beginning of the week, one of my old coworkers asked me to design some cups for her with my Cricut machine.
Oh, yeah. I was like, why did she come to you for that? I forgot you had a Cricut machine. I thought she was just like, you look crafty. I need a cup made. Get on it.
Customized. That was what I was looking for.
Yeah.
And it was 12 cups, and they had 3 words. I was like, this is simple.
Was it fucking live, laugh, love?
No, God. Thank God. It's like a name and something.
Mary, Lou, Ellen.
Yes. And she contacted me at the beginning of the week, and I was like ignoring her because I just had this like mental block, and like I was like, I'll get to it. I just couldn't. I don't know why. But finally I pull it up and I'm like, this isn't going to get here time.
Uh-oh.
But thank God it came Thursday night, and she was picking them up Friday. I was like, oh my God. So I ended up
all-nighter.
I ended up staying up till 3:00 last night because it should have been so simple. Like, all you have to do is write the word, find the font, copy it, however many cups you have plus a few extras, and then put it in the machine and it cuts it, and then you just, take out the bits you don't need and stick it on that cup. It's not that difficult.
But everything has to be tricky when you're in a rush.
Yeah.
Don't you know that?
I know. My machine wouldn't connect to the computer, so I had to do it off my phone, and it just nothing wanted to work. It was so frustrating. I was up so fucking late.
Was she paying you for the cups?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I was going to say, if they were free, just be like, I got it in a couple days.
Unfortunately, it was her daughter's party tonight, so I needed to have them done.
Tamara.
I know.
Stop procrastinating.
So I went to bed. It was like sometime after 3:00, and then I woke up at 5:22.
You literally slept 2 hours.
Yeah, so that's why you are worried about my state of mind today.
I've asked her probably about 60 times if she took an edible or smoked some weed before she came over because she is so out of it.
No. Anyway, and then this morning, well, first of all, my boss is out on vacation. Usually it's horrible, but it's been okay.
1 second. I'm also going to pause to say when we were in the car, I said, oh my God, it's already after 8 and we haven't even started recording it. And this bitch said, the night is young. This bitch who's running on 2 hours of sleep. So I just wanted to point that out.
I mean, I feel normal.
Night is young. I'm tired already. I got 9 hours of sleep last night.
Oh my God. I don't think I've had
and
9
that's
hours
me,
of sleep.
Like, not getting a lot of sleep. Normally I go to fucking bed at like 8 o'clock and wake up at 9.
It's like after I put my kid to sleep, that's like my only time to be me and alone and not have to hear other people asking me questions.
Having little babies crawl all over
Fucking
you.
hate people asking me questions.
Are you going to be able to drive home?
Yeah.
I have an energy drink in the fridge.
Ooh, no, because I need to go right to bed.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I interrupted you. Something about your boss?
Yeah, my boss was out of town or whatever, and so that leaves us with 5 employees at the branch. And then this morning, the one that was supposed to open with me is like, well, my daughter's sick. I got to take her to the doctor. I'm like, of course. Of course.
Isn't it always like when your boss is gone and you're in charge, like somebody inevitably calls out?
Yeah. And they're already not happy with me because I had a little come to Jesus moment with them all about, and I said, just because, oh shit, I said her name.
Bleep.
I said, just because Bleep is out doesn't mean you guys can come in late and call out.
Yeah.
It was a lot more than that, but I mean, you're not going to take advantage of me.
No. Fuck that.
And put me in a bad situation because you think you're not going to get in trouble for it. Also, you think I'm not going to tell our boss.
Just because she's short doesn't mean you can push her around.
Yeah. Just because I'm like the nicest human being doesn't mean that like
you're not the nicest.
You should do stupid shit when I only had 2 hours of sleep. Yeah, and then
she will cut you.
I got in the car and I had no gas. I was so afraid I was gonna run out of gas and like
literally live like a minute away from.
But like with like the school rush, I didn't have time to go to the gas station.
Yep.
And I was so afraid I was gonna run out of gas in the drop off line. And then
oh my God. The fucking drop off. Can't your kid ride a bus? Why don't kids ride the bus anymore?
I don't my 6-year-old on a bus? I don't trust any humans.
I've been riding the fucking bus since I was in kindergarten.
She still rides the bus to school.
Who? Me?
I'm sorry. I just don't trust
no
anyone
you shouldn't,
anymore.
But also, those lines are fucking stupid.
I know.
And honestly, the worst that's going to happen to your kid is like they're going to get a tampon thrown at their head.
She could get kidnapped and murdered.
Not on a school bus.
Yeah, on a school bus.
When she gets off the school bus.
Oh my God.
You just got to make sure you're there to pick her up.
She went on a field trip last year, and they did like a draw for the chaperones because all the parents wanted to be chaperones.
Did you fucking volunteer?
No, I didn't make it to the lucky few. So I drove to the place.
Oh my God,
and
I
sat there. I know.
That's why they have chaperones. Can you just fucking take a break?
No, I do not trust people. I'm so sorry. I don't trust anyone with my kid. Even my husband, I'm like, listen.
Get your hands off of her.
Did she even brush her teeth? God damn it.
I mean, I've seen you try to get him to feed her dinner. It is a fight.
Trying to get him to make anything is a fight.
Yeah. Even if it's just mac and cheese, which is what it always is.
It is. And a hot dog. Anyway.
What an American child.
I went to go get gas and I pull up to the gas pump. I'm like praying. I'm like, oh my God, thank God I got here. And then none of my cards would work at the gas station. And I'm like, what is going on? And these people that own the station are our clients. And he comes out and I'm like, just having the worst day. And he's like talking to me.
Did
he
recognize you?
Yeah.
Oh God.
Because we see them every day. They're right across the street from us. And yeah, I was looking like an idiot. Can't figure out how to get the pump to work. And then I had to get back in my car and back out, go to the other pump. It worked. So it wasn't me, but geez.
Maybe they should put a sign on that pump.
Maybe I should have walked in and told them, but I was not about that life.
I mean, he did wave at you like, hey.
Yeah, when he was walking in, but I'm not.
Hard pass.
No, that's just not the life for me.
It wasn't your vibe today,
Mm-mm.
as your daughter says. Your vibe wasn't being helpful today. Your vibe was just getting by.
Yeah. It's just, I'm sure other things happened that I can't remember right now. But I just remember being really frustrated.
I'm worried about you driving home.
I'll be fine.
Sure. As long as you don't fall asleep at the wheel. It's a long drive.
It's not that far. I like it.
Okay.
I'll blast some.
And you will let me know when you get home.
You can track me.
I forget. The second you leave, I'm like, it's bedtime. I am so tired.
I will try to remember to text you.
You have like that motherly energy that just never runs out somehow. I have dog mom energy. I'm just tired all the time.
Have you ever seen me at 5:30 when I walk in my house?
In the morning?
No.
Oh, at night?
At night after work, I do not have that mom energy.
I actually have seen that. And you don't. You lock your daughter out of the bathroom. It's beautiful.
It's better than locking her in the bathroom.
You need a minute. Just a fucking minute.
Anyway, my day got better because now I'm hanging out with my best friend. Yeah.
And then it briefly got worse when we realized that the microphone cable that we ordered on Amazon that we were waiting for because we couldn't record before I went on vacation because the microphone broke, we ordered the wrong one. And then we didn't know what to do.
We went on an adventure.
We went on an adventure to Guitar Center. Or as I like to call it, Guitar Hero. Spent $35 on a microphone cable. I almost said microwave.
Hey, what's the difference?
Not a lot.
Yeah. So, yeah. And then I found out when I got home that Rich got a promotion.
Oh.
So
Congrats.
the day has picked up.
Mazel.
Yeah. And then I was trying to figure out, like, I wanted to give him, like, a congratulations thing because I know
like,
he would have gotten me flowers.
Sexual?
Well, no. I meant,
Awkward
like, something as a gift.
A nice candle.
And I was like, well, you know, like, what's the male version of flowers? Because he's
football.
He always, I know. He's always telling me, like, I get you flowers. You know, you don't ever get me flowers. I'm like, what? Do you like flowers? Like, are you a flower guy? Because to be honest, I'm not a flower girl. But
they just die.
I like the thought. I'm more of a plant girl because that will die slower.
I've offered to give you a plant. Because they'll die slower.
Yeah.
Sorry, you just made me lose my voice.
I'll have a little bit more time with them before they die. But yeah, so I Googled it and went to Reddit, and the answer was a blowjob. So it's a lot. I don't have to spend any money.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
You could take him to dinner.
I could get him his favorite ice cream.
You could get a babysitter for your kid.
Oh, I thought you said I could have a baby. I'm like, yeah.
No, that's not a gift for him or you. I'm digging myself a grave.
The gift of life.
All the moms are going to come after me. The one other mom that listens to this. Hi, Robin.
So, yeah, that was my day.
So fun.
Yeah. But now I have a 3-day weekend. 3 days off. I forgot I have 3 days off. I'm so excited. Now,
is Monday a holiday?
It's you know that. Yeah, it's a holiday. It's
the fuck?
You know, it was called Columbus Day, and now we changed it to something I can't remember because I haven't slept.
People's Day.
Thank you.
Because Columbus is a rapist and a pilferer.
Yeah.
Pilferer?
Yeah. Em got a book from the school library that was like the tale of Thanksgiving, and I'm like, oh, this is not factual at all.
We know now.
Like, we live in Florida, so you know I'm gonna have to tell you the truth because you're not gonna.
The school system's not gonna tell her the truth.
They're gonna tell her that slaves benefited.
Oh, absolutely. The blacks love being whipped.
They learned a lot. They gained a lot of skills.
No pain, no gain.
Fucking bullshit. Don't lie to my child. That's my job.
About Never mind. I was going to make a gross sex joke. I don't want to picture Rich naked.
I didn't mean to make that gross sound.
Skinny for me.
This is the test to see if he'd ever listen.
It is. I know. Now I have to watch what I say because Matt listens. And today he's just like, you made fun of me in that episode you put out. And I was like, well, get ready, bud. We still got 10 recorded.
Toughen up.
I say it with love.
Yeah. Am I going to know
What
the story?
happened to my notes? You might. I'm sure you will know the icon, but I don't know if you know the details of the story.
Did you find your notes?
Yeah, they just look weird.
Okay. Scared me.
They just look weird. I feel like I'm missing a sentence. All right, so today I'm going to be talking about a love story that ends in tragedy, which I now realize are a lot of my stories.
Yeah.
Wait.
Wait. Let me guess. Romeo and Juliet.
No.
Just
Lame. Although, did it like the first murder-suicide?
Yeah.
Wait, no. No, it was just a suicide. But there was a stabbing. But she stabbed herself. I don't know. No, he stabbed himself. I don't know.
I couldn't tell you.
Not a big shit.
No.
I loved Macbeth.
No.
That's a good fucking story.
Like high school me was not in the realm to focus on that.
You just like the boys, huh?
No, I just was bored in class and was like, I feel like I could be learning something a little bit different than this, maybe a little bit better, maybe a little bit more useful. And then when my mind's fully matured, I could maybe be entertained by this when I'm more of an adult, but whatever.
Did you not read Macbeth?
I did.
It was really interesting.
I didn't read it, but I was there.
Scottish.
I was there for the lesson, and the people were reading. I don't really fucking remember, honestly. I've heard of Macbeth.
Slept through it, Tamara. Slept through it.
Man, I had the best dreams when I would fall asleep at school. They were so good.
I never slept hard enough to dream at school.
Man,
I was always too paranoid that someone was going to fuck with me when I was sleeping.
biology class.
Tamara, that was my favorite class. What are you doing? What was your favorite class?
My favorite class? Sign language, I guess. I don't know.
Of course, it was
I
an elective course.
Hate it. I hated school.
I don't like people. I like the homework. I like learning things.
You're a nerd.
I loved chemistry
Oh my
because
God,
I loved algebra and
failed.
I love science.
I failed chemistry. I was okay in math because I had a string of really good teachers
Yeah.
in high school, but
Yeah. That's all you need. I hate geometry. Fuck angles.
Pythagorean theorem, my ass.
Angles. I hate angles and circles and radiuses. I hate them all. Okay. But today, we're not here to talk about triangles.
Okay.
We're here to talk about Sid Vicious and Nancy Spungen. You have no idea.
I've heard of Sid Vicious. I've heard of Sid Vicious.
She's turning down her headset. She's picking up her phone, getting on TikTok because she's bored out of her mind already.
She's taking a nap.
John Simon Ritchie or Simon John Ritchie. Every single article says a different arrangement of that name.
Okay.
He later adopted the name Sid Vicious. He was born May 10th, 1957 in London to parents Anne Beverly and John Ritchie.
So his last name would be Ritchie.
His last name would be Ritchie.
Yeah.
Yes. But I'm going to call him Sid Vicious basically from here forward.
Okay.
Because it's very confusing. There's it's a first name situation.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
John Simon Ritchie. Why?
Yeah.
Anne Beverly, Sid's mom, had met his father when she dropped out of school to join the British Army. And his dad, I know, it was kind of cool. His dad, but she's not kind of cool. She's not cool.
Okay.
His dad was a guardsman at the Buckingham Palace, which is pretty fucking cool.
Mm-hmm.
And a semi-professional trombone player in the London jazz scene. which is also kind of cool. His dad sounds
Yeah.
pretty chill, except that he abandoned the family.
Not chill.
Like right after Sid was born. Yeah. He was like, bye. I don't think I want a kid. So his mom was like super like bohemian, and she took Sid and moved to Ibiza. And
It's Ibiza?
why do people keep saying that? It's on TV. What is that? What is that from?
I think that's just how they pronounce it.
Who?
The people who live in Ibiza. We call it Ibiza because there's a
I
Z,
thought it was
but
just rich people in Ibiza.
they just...
I feel like it's just a fucking joke. Like, I want to see how many people actually pronounce it like that. Is it actually like that?
I think that's...
I'm not saying that.
I don't know any facts, okay? That's just what I'm assuming. 0 facts in my brain.
How about this? They moved over there.
Okay.
Where Sid's mom had hoped that his dad would be meeting them, but he never showed up. So to get by, she began dealing drugs. And 2 years later, with the help of the British Embassy, she was able to return to England. By 1973, she was addicted to drugs. She was struggling with heroin and opiates, and she didn't even realize that Sid began attending Kingsway College, which was a vocational school for students with difficulties. It's here at this school that he meets and befriends John Lydon. I'm sorry, Lydon? Lydon, I think. I don't know why I put an N in there. Later known as Johnny Rotten, who is lead singer of the Sex Pistols. And not at the time, though. Sorry. Timelines are really hard for me.
I was following. I knew what you meant.
Sid was already using drugs at this point. He was like shooting up with his mom and stuff. I think I read that he was like, he started at like 13 or something like that.
Like shooting heroin?
So like one thing that I read said that he started injecting at 13. Another thing that I read said that he didn't start injecting until Nancy introduced him to it. So it's just hard to tell.
Yeah.
But
Ooh.
yeah. Either way, he was doing some form of drugs with his mother. I mean, like even a friend of theirs said that he shot up with his mom right in front of them.
Okay.
And like that, yeah, they were kids. When he was 16 years old, Anne threw him out the house. Why did I just say it like that? Threw him out the house! Out of the house. Saying, quote, "It's either you or me, and it's not going to be me." Oh, I got to say this in a British accent. No, I'm not going to do that.
Damn it.
I really want to, but...
So why did she throw him out?
I'm going to say it.
Oh, okay. Good. Oh,
Quote.
it's like a story.
"It's either you or me, and it's not gonna be me. I've got to try to preserve myself, and you just fuck off."
She has to try to preserve herself?
Yep.
I still don't understand what that means.
I think it was just like, maybe he was using her drugs. Maybe he was like eating too much fucking food. I don't know. Maybe he was just being a kid, and that wasn't fitting into her lifestyle.
Okay. See you next Tuesday, bitch.
Yep, basically. Oh, but she comes back. So Sid's out on the streets, but he has friends. John, who had met in college, had introduced him to a couple other guys, also named John, that they all went to school with. They called them like the Four Johns. It was really cute. It was like this little squad. They all dropped out of school and began squatting in random, dark, dingy places. And because they were all named John, they all decided to take nicknames. So Sid was named after John Lydon's pet hamster, who was named after Pink Floyd's Sid Barrett. And when it tried to bite Sid, that vicious little hamster rounded out his nickname.
Sid Vicious. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. He would always... John would always look at him and say, "Sid, you're so vicious." So cute. So cute.
Yeah. God, men are cringy.
I know. It's adorable. Kind of. So in 1975, John Lydon now known as Johnny Rotten, joins the Sex Pistols as their lead vocals, and Sid becomes their #1 fan. He's even credited with inventing the pogo dance as a way of purposefully bumping into members of the band's entourage, or just like people he didn't like. And like, I've definitely done this dance at like shows that I've been to. You just fucking jump up and down. In a, like, you look like a fucking stick. It's like that, I want to do it, but it's just jumping up and down. Keep your arms at your side.
Or up.
You could just fucking jump as high as you can. Like, he
didn't make that up, okay? I do that at concerts, and
They say he invented the pogo.
That's what he claims.
Well, he did, so.
That's what he claimed.
Someone claimed it somewhere.
It just feels so natural. Like when you're in a show, it's like.
Yeah. That's exactly what I would do. I also, I don't know, I did this weird dance and Matt told me I looked like I was doing the Charlie Brown. Whatever that means. You just feel the music and your body is just like, I want to do what I want.
See, me at concerts, I just get like
you just really kind of sit there.
I get really like, I don't know, so awkward. Like, because I'm always like, you know, grass lawn seats, like chilling in the back, thinking we're going to relax. And like people are just up like 5 feet away from you, just like vibing. And I'm like, we're listening to Journey. Like, I just want to watch the show.
Oh, no, that's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Journey, you have to have like sitting seats. I don't know. Like Matt's gone to Journey with his dad and they get like sitting seats. Hell, even like Metallica, I was glad that we had sitting seats because I was just like, I can't headbang for an hour and a half.
No.
I'll throw out my back.
We're way too old for that.
Yes, exactly. Anyway, so in 1977, the bassist of the band was kicked out just because he didn't like the way the band was going. And he was replaced with Sid Vicious, basically because he was John Lydon's friend, or Johnny Rotten, whatever he's called fucking now. He was just his friend, and they were just like, yeah, come on over. He was playing drums at the time for another band. He had never played bass at the time, but apparently he like taught himself how to play bass just by like, I guess he like he had a Ramones record or something and like listened to it over and over and over again, learned the simple chords because punk rock is just simple chords. Mm-hmm. It's really easy. And also, you don't need to be a good musician to be a punk rocker. You just gotta have fucking like, you just gotta have emotion in your music. I don't know.
Or know how to keep a rhythm.
Not even. Not even.
Well, I think it's cool that he just didn't know bass and then he just did.
Yeah, he did. Because it was.
I don't even.
The simplest. I heard your throat
my
there.
My throat is so embarrassing.
Do you want to enzyme?
No, it's actually it's the scar tissue. The scar tissue in my throat. The water like trickling through the scar tissue.
Yum.
Yeah. I should go to a gastroenterologist.
You probably should. Maybe they can scrape that off.
Maybe I would get some time off work.
You probably would. Covered by your health insurance.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Woo.
I'm gonna go get my throat
scraped, and then she'll have to take some time off the podcast, which means I also get a break.
And then I don't have to give any blowjobs for a while. I'm so sorry, Mom. I know you love.
Oh my gosh, this brings a whole new level of horror. Okay. Sid Vicious didn't know how to play the bass, but he learned. God, Tamara.
Did y'all lose your place?
Anyways, shortly after joining the band, he met Nancy Spungen. Nancy was born February 27th in 1958 in Philly. Apparently, she was an extremely challenging baby to raise, throwing temper tantrums constantly, and at just 3 months old, her pediatrician prescribed her phenobarbital, a sedative which is now known to be highly addictive. 3 months old. Isn't that what killed Michael Jackson?
Propofol.
Oh, okay.
It is a sedative, though.
Propofol. Never heard of that. Oh, wait. Actually, that might come up somewhere.
Never heard. Actually,
Lots of
I
drugs.
wrote about
Lots
it.
of drugs. Her violent and emotionally disturbed childhood behavior. Oh, JK. Can I start that over?
No.
Fuck you. Her violent and emotionally disturbed behavior would continue through childhood and into her adult life. She would threaten her siblings, attack her therapists. She attempted suicide many times, a couple times with scissors. And by 15, she was already addicted to heroin, and her psychiatrist officially diagnosed her with schizophrenia.
Yeah.
But there's also, like, some claims that, like, it wasn't, like, an official diagnosis. So I feel like back then they just kind of threw schizophrenia at, like, anything that they couldn't really
I don't
nail
think
down.
they even have that anymore. I think it's so at 3 months old.
3 months old.
So
she was probably just colicky.
She was a colicky baby.
Yeah. And they were just like, throw some opiates at her or whatever. Yeah.
So she was doomed from the beginning.
Yeah. And like, think about how that fucks up your brain as an infant.
Yeah. Like the most growing that your brain's supposed to do. It's horrible.
Yeah. But, you know, somehow, even with all that in her childhood, she was able to graduate high school, and she was accepted to the University of Colorado Boulder at just 16 years old. So 5 months into her freshman year, she tried to buy weed from an undercover cop and got busted. And then after that, she was arrested for storing stolen property in her dorm room. And this charge eventually got her expelled from the university and banished from the entire state of Colorado, apparently.
That's an option? You get banished from a whole
That's
state?
what I said. I was like, I didn't know that was you're banished! How are you going to know if I sneak into your state?
Bitch, I see you over there.
I can drive to wherever I want to. So, by 17, Nancy decided to move to New York, where she dove headfirst into the music scene. She supported herself financially with sex work and amateur music journalism and became a groupie for bands like Aerosmith, the Ramones, and the Heartbreakers. She eventually followed the Heartbreakers to London, where she went to a Sex Pistols show and met members of the band who didn't like her at all because she was loud, abrasive, snotty, and had a bad reputation for just basically like... She was the drug lady. She would buy everyone. She had the drugs, but she had a bad personality, basically. And they just didn't want her anywhere around the band. But there was something about that Sid Vicious found irresistible. And he felt bad for the girl that everyone was so rude to.
No, he just likes the toxic energy.
Oh, 100%. 1977. The kids are together. They're hanging. They're loving. They're inseparable. By this time, they both already had addictions of their own, but when they got together, it exploded. And it was like, that's all Sid could think about was Nancy and the drug. And in 1978, the Sex Pistols broke up, citing Sid's drug use, and his volatile relationship with Nancy as a few of the many reasons. Also, like, they kept getting like picked up and dropped from like a whole bunch of different record labels, just because of their like antics. You know, they were just.
I mean, they sound
wild
like
child.
Very. I don't know. Like I've heard their name, but like, were they like really huge and successful? How do I know them?
So they were like the first, like, they were like the first punk artists in the UK.
Okay.
They just wanted to fuck it up, you know? I guess that there was like this one, I'm probably describing this all wrong because it was like an eternity that I saw this ago. But there was this one like boat ride down the Thames or something where like near like the fucking palace where the queen is or something. however it's fucking set up over there.
Mm-hmm.
And they were slated to perform on it because they were this up and coming band with all this promise and stuff like that. And they played the song God Save the Queen, which is like everything. Like, it was basically just like a big middle finger to the queen and like the whole type of government over there.
I'm like trying to picture the queen having to like witness this punk band
With their little corgis.
Their little hat.
My word.
What are they saying, honey?
It was great. It was great. They just stood for anarchy.
Okay.
It was wonderful.
So they probably had a like big cult following.
They did. And like, I mean, like we had like the Ramones here in the States, and wow, I'm having a brain fart about what other bands were around at the time. There were other bands. Anyways, I'm tired.
There were
other things going on.
Fact. Fun fact.
We suck at this. I suck at this research. Anyways, in 1978, the Sex Pistols broke up. We know this. Mm-hmm. In August of 1978, the couple moved to New York and settled down in room 100 of the Chelsea Hotel. And it's here that Nancy Spungen will die. There's just like so many things that happen in between all of these events that I'm talking about. And I just can't fucking get into them all because we would be here for like 3 hours. Yeah.
Were they just like wildly in love?
They were just like fucking wild now.
Or like just
it was literally
volatile.
Them against the world, and volatile and drug infused. Like he was just so strung out. She was bringing in all the money, bringing in all the drugs. And then like, I mean, like at the time, like after the band broke up, like he wasn't bringing in any money. She became his manager, and she was just like trying to like get him like this solo career. Sid Vicious does this. Sid Vicious does this. And it just wasn't working out. Cause,
I mean, I know his name more than
Johnny. Yeah, well, that's because of
Grossi
the whole
or whatever you called him.
Johnny Rotten. What did you say? Jamie Grossi?
Johnny Grossi.
That's because of this whole thing. That's why we know Sid Vicious's name. It's not like he was it's not like he was a skilled performer.
Okay.
We know him because of what happens next. So on October 11th, a bunch of Sid's friends were at a hotel room partying, and they were all just like using a shitload of drugs. They claim to have seen Sid take as many as 30 tablets of Tuinol, which is a barbiturate.
With tuna in it.
Got him. This dose would have been more than anyone could survive, but due to his high tolerance for drugs, it probably just put him asleep for a while. It literally probably just knocked him out.
Jeez.
Yeah. Around 2:30 in the morning, Nancy asked a man named Rocket's Red Glare, who was like...
Are you fucking kidding me?
That's like his like...
Rocket's Red Glare.
Yeah. I found out his real name in my research, and then I forgot to write it down.
Sir.
But his name was Rocket's Red Glare. He was Sid's bodyguard / drug dealer.
Okay.
And he was also staying in the hotel with them, I guess. Or like he was outside in the hallway, like what I picture bodyguards be doing, just standing outside the door with his arms crossed, like, who you?
I'm Rocket's Red Glare.
I'm Rocket's Red Glare. So Nancy went to Rocket's Red Glare and asked him if she could get them some Dilaudid, because they wanted to fucking party. And you know what Dilaudid is, because we love to watch Intervention. It's still around today.
I think I had it when I was in labor. Or at some point.
Oh, you know what? You did, actually. And I was like, you be careful, Jamara. It's very addictive.
It was horrible. It just made like that and morphine. I was itching like crazy,
and
shaking.
It's an opioid.
I was still in fucking pain.
A couple people who were at the party claim that Nancy was still alive by 5 a.m. And then at 7:30 a.m., a guest in another room hears female moans or groaning something like that, coming from room 100, but doesn't call anyone, probably because they're so used to hearing all the crazy fucking racket coming from Sid and Nancy's up and down relationship. And a little while after that, Sid left the room, where he claims later that he saw Nancy. She was on the floor, but she was still breathing. He went to go get her methadone. They had recently told their parents that they were switching to methadone to try to get off heroin. And then I think methadone pickup was around like 7 a.m. So he left the hotel room to go get that. When he returned, Nancy was on the bathroom floor covered in blood, clearly deceased at this point. Around 10 a.m., Sid calls the front desk asking for help and is found wandering the hallways, totally out of it. Hotel staff entered the room and found Nancy Spungen had been stabbed once in the stomach with a knife and had basically bled out over the course of several hours, because it was just one stab wound. It wasn't like fatally immediately.
Several hours, so not in the time he could leave and go to the methadone clinic and come back.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Why didn't I write time of death in here? Maybe I do later. God, I'm so bad at this. Anyways, she was only 20 years old. She was a wee babe. I know. The lives that they live, and they're both fucking children. They're both like, wow. So, basically, immediately after her body was found, he was charged with her murder because it's a fucking drug addict. Like, he was there. It's his girlfriend. Whatever. Get him. You know? Easy.
Yeah, I'm sure that they probably are, like, very familiar with having to deal with them.
And they're familiar with him based on his reputation.
Yeah.
And this was also, like, this was in New York in the 70s, which had, like, the highest crime rate. I mean, like, I think I read somewhere that, like, in New York and, like, that year that she died, there were, like, 3,000 murders in that one year, where now there's around 300 murders a year in New York. So,
holy shit.
I'm sure they just wanted to fucking get the case closed because they had so many open cases. At first, when asked about it, he claimed he had no idea who killed her. Then he convinced himself it must have been him, even if he didn't remember a damn thing. He said, quote, "I did it because I'm a dirty dog," unquote.
Dirty dog.
I'm a dirty dog. But then he retracts his statement, saying that he was asleep when it happened, which definitely could have been the case with the amount of barbiturates that he was on the night before. And there were others that firmly believe that he couldn't have had anything to do with the murder. He may have been a strung-out addict, but he loved Nancy, and everyone who knew him saw that. So the Sex Pistols manager at the time, Malcolm McLaren, hired a really good lawyer for Sid, and they started to work on getting him bailed out. So Sid's being held in the hospital wing of Rikers Island prison to detox from the drugs. What?
Rikers Island jail, right?
Maybe.
Okay.
I wrote prison, but it could be a jail. I don't know. What's the difference? Prison's bigger? Rikers Island. He was at Rikers Island, but in the hospital wing. He was in their detox program.
Ooh.
Just
casual detoxing at Rikers Island. That sounds
right.
horrible.
Well, they had to hold him somewhere.
Ugh.
And I don't even think he got to finish detox because Virgin Records put up the money. Virgin Records, like the record fucking company, right? They put up the money to bail out an alleged murderer. Could you imagine that happening today?
Yeah, actually.
Really? An artist gets arrested for the murder of his girlfriend? A record company putting up the money to bail him out? I couldn't imagine that. That would be such bad press for them.
I mean, maybe not Virgin. I won't call it Virgin Mobile, but
it's the same thing, I think.
Yeah. But like, I don't know.
Drink down my boobies.
I'm just thinking of like Death Row Records. Like,
just can't get out of your head.
I know.
So they put up $50,000 bail to get Sid.
Hold on. I'm choking.
It just sounded so fucking old.
Oh, it went up my nose.
So your bile?
I don't know. No, it was just spit in my mouth that I couldn't remember how to swallow.
You're like, what? Oh, Tamara, we have electronics. Did you get it on the electronics? Oh, she's choking. Do I need to come over there? I'll shut up.
Okay. Oh.
Did you spit water on our sound box?
I don't think it was a lot. Oh man, it's in my
We
nose.
just replaced the mic cable. We can't afford to replace the sound box.
Everything's dry. We're good. I just had to do a little spit take there.
Like a couple. Get it all out. Let's get it all out.
Okay. All right. Stop thinking about it. Okay. We
good?
We were talking about something.
Bail. He got bailed out.
Yes.
Virgin Records. So they got him out of prison, and they paid for all of his legal expenses. So like his lawyer, court hearings, all of it. They paid for it. So he's released on bail with the stipulation that he can't leave New York, and he has to sign in daily at the homicide unit and at the local methadone center. So he returns to the Chelsea Hotel with his mother, who flew in to take care of him, and who is still on drugs. BT dubs. Which is great for a recovering addict. Within a week of being released, Sid tries to kill himself by taking all his methadone supply and slashing his wrists with a broken light bulb. His mom finds him before he's able to finish the job, and he's sent to Bellevue Hospital to recover, and then to a behavioral health center. He was released at the end of November and interviewed unknowingly for the very last time.
How does he have money for all this?
So I'm sure he had some residuals still coming in from like the Sex Pistols record sales.
Okay.
But probably not a lot. And then Nancy was making money for him also. She made really good money as like a go-go dancer, sex worker. But yeah, I mean,
like Chelsea? Good money? Okay, I don't know.
I don't know.
It was a long time ago.
It was a different time. So he was interviewed when he was released from the behavioral health center. And in this interview, he claims that Nancy always knew she would die before she was 21. And when they asked him where he wanted to be right now, because he just had this like far off look in his eyes, he said, under the ground. And they were like, you joking? He's like, no. Like dead ass, no expression on his face.
And they're like all
really
right,
fucking sad. I know. Let's wrap it up.
All right. Why don't you go on home?
Sid, what's your favorite type of salad? So a week-ish later, on December 5th, Sid attends a punk show just to get out of the hotel. He's with a couple friends and a new girlfriend.
Okay.
He starts hitting on a girl who turns him down. No big deal, right? Wrong. Because her boyfriend's there. So naturally, Sid grabbed a beer bottle and smashed in the dude's face.
Naturally.
And a couple days later, Sid was arrested again and charged with assault and breaking the terms of his bail. So off to Rikers again. He went for another round of enforced detoxification. And shockingly, on January 18th, Sid appeared in court and was released on just a $10,000 bail.
No, that's not true. They kept him in there, obviously. Mm-hmm. He got much better. Mm-hmm. He was reformed.
Well, this time, I believe he actually finished He actually did finish his detox this time around, but they lessened his bail, and now he only had to report to the homicide unit 3 times a week instead of every day, and didn't have to go to the methadone center at all.
Mm-hmm.
But he did have one new rule: no more nightclubs.
How are they going to monitor that?
Like, that's the cause of all the problems. It's the nightclubs.
Yeah.
So Sid finished his detox program at Rikers and was released on February 1st of 79. By this time, he'd been clean for about 6 or 7 weeks and was looking to have a little party to celebrate. Again, naturally. What else do you do? But look for the nearest drugs.
Yeah.
So he got his hands on some heroin and went to his girlfriend's apartment with some friends. Now, if we've learned anything from binge watching the show Intervention, this is a real dangerous time to use drugs. Why, Tamara?
Because their bodies aren't as accustomed as they normally think they can, and then they overdose.
They have no tolerance.
Yeah.
But they want to use the same amount that they're used to.
Mm-hmm.
So, after being clean for so long, your body doesn't have any tolerance to the drugs that it used to have before the detox. Oftentimes, when an addict relapses, they'll use the same dosage that they used to use, and a lot of times it ends up in a fatal overdose, as is the case here. Basically, Sid goes to his girlfriend's apartment. His mom scores him some heroin. The first batch that she gets him is really weak, so he had another friend go get him some more, and the second batch of heroin is really, really strong. Like, his friend had actually overdosed on it and was like, Sid, take it easy on this. It's really fucking pure. And Sid's like, oh, yeah, I got it. It's fine. So I think one of the documentaries I watched said it had like 80% purity or something, which is wild. So him and his friends party all night. He has a seizure at some point, but then he recovered within a few minutes. So his friends gave him some Quaaludes to sleep it off.
Naturally.
As they headed out. They were like, you good? Bye. And it's really sad because, like, my other favorite band is the Misfits. And one of the guys from the Misfits was at this little party and was just like, he's kind of like, let the man die, if you ask me. But, so around 2 a.m., he died. At 7:30, his mom tried to wake him up for a court hearing, something like that in the morning, and he's obviously dead. And there's a syringe and a charred spoon next to his cold, naked body. He's dead at just 21 years old. Okay.
That's scary.
It's scary. It's sad. It's just fucking drugs, man.
I know.
So for police at the time, this was awesome news because they don't have to prosecute this case anymore. It's fucking slam dunk.
He died?
The junkie killed the groupie. The end.
God.
They dropped Nancy's murder case because for them, the guy that did it just offed himself. Why waste any more time? It's fucking rude. It's fucking rude.
It is, yes.
But people close to Sid still believe in his innocence. And there are a lot of theories floating around about what could have happened. A lot of conspiracy theories. Some people believe that this was some part of a suicide pact and that Sid was making good on his promise to Nancy. At least that's what his mom believes. She thinks that he snuck into her stash after he fell asleep and took more of her heroin after he had the, like, good. So, and she thinks that a little bit extra pushed him over the edge. She claims to have found a handwritten note in his jacket pocket, which is just like, I don't know.
She claims,
but like, I just don't know.
nobody's seen it because he wrote it in invisible
There's a
ink.
picture of it, but we just don't know. Like, it could have been her writing it. He could have fucking written it and not actually killed himself. Like, I don't know. It said, quote, "We had a death pact and I have to keep my half of the bargain. Please bury me next to my baby. Bury me in my leather jacket, jeans, and motorcycle boots. Goodbye," unquote. So, yeah, people think Sid's mom may have given him the fatal dose of heroin on purpose because she didn't want him to spend the rest of his life in prison. That's another theory. There's other people that believe that Sid's bodyguard, Rocket's Red Glare, may have had something to do with her murder. Maybe he stabbed Nancy after she confronted him about stealing from Sid, because they had a drawer in their apartment that had a whole bunch of money in it. That's just where they kept all their drug money. The drawer was open and the drawer was empty when cops arrived. So Sid didn't have the money. Who did? Suspicious. Also, it could have been fucking anyone, because there were 10 people that night that she died and no one was interviewed because they were like, Sid did it. Like, they didn't look anywhere else. Here's another theory, which is really fun. Some people think that Nancy was killed by the CIA in order to frame Sid, and that Sid was then knowingly given extra strong heroin to kill him. Because where do you get heroin that pure? On the streets of New York. Right? Right?
I don't know.
There ain't no fucking Heisenberg out there on the streets of New York.
I don't know. I heard it's pretty creepy in Central Park at night.
Okay.
Trolls.
So, yeah, that belief is that the CIA killed her to frame him and then give him the heroin overdose so that the anarchist punk movement in the U.S. would be squashed before it could start.
How does that make sense?
This is a conspiracy theory. They were worried because they saw what it was doing in the UK and all the upheaval, and they didn't want that happening in the United States.
I'm gonna kill some people. It'll stop. That'll end it.
So whatever really happened, though, we'll probably never know. The police treated Nancy's death like they treated all sex workers' deaths. Meh.
No.
Barely investigated at all. For example, in the pictures of the crime scene, which we have because police allowed journalists into the room where Nancy was lying dead before the coroner even got there, there's a bloody handprint on one of the mattresses, and yet nowhere in the police report was that mentioned, which means it probably wasn't collected as evidence or tested for anything. Also, in the entire room, the whole dirty, nasty drug room that was never cleaned or anything, there were only 4 single fingerprints belonging to Sid. And it was just like random places on like walls and shit. Places you wouldn't think to clean, you know?
Mm-hmm. Thank you for explaining that
Yeah.
to me.
Well, it was like, I was looking and it was like in the middle of the wall. Like, I'm not going to, if I'm wiping the place down for prints, I'm thinking touch points.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking the middle of a wall. So, I don't know. It just weird. Like, this is why conspiracy theory fucking happens, is because things aren't properly investigated and you're just leaving the public to come up with their own conclusions.
Right.
So, also, the knife, the supposed murder weapon, was found in plain view on top of a suitcase, wiped completely clean of any evidence. No fingerprints, no blood.
Okay.
Yep. There were witnesses that watched Sid take all those barbiturates the night before. How could he have possibly had the brain power to clean up a mess like that when he took enough drugs to send a normal person into a coma or to their death? You know, how could he think, oh my God, I stabbed my girlfriend, I need to clean this knife meticulously? It was a fucking like pocket knife, switchblade fucking thing. It's got cracks and crevices.
Mm-hmm.
I can barely wash my own dishes when I've had 3 beers. I'm sorry. I don't see it. I just don't see it. And yeah, it's because of all these questions surrounding this case that it remains unsolved to this day. And if this isn't the definition of live fast, die young, I don't know what is.
Wow.
questions, comments, concerns?
Yeah.
I know that was very confusing because
No, it
it
wasn't.
just, there were so many things that happened so fast, and there's so many other, it was just, it's a whirlwind.
So can we look up his time of death?
Yeah.
I mean, her time of death?
Her time of death?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is like the thing, like I listened to a podcast after I wrote all my notes and I was just like, oh my God, it has all the information here. And I didn't add it to my notes. 10 a.m. No, I lied. Stupid Google. That's when Sid called downstairs. Okay. Present speculation is that Nancy was stabbed between 6 and 7 a.m. and died between 8 and 10 a.m. So she very well could have been alive when he left to do the methadone. And like if she was on a shitload of drugs. So what I do remember from one of the podcasts I was listening to is that it's possible that like she was stabbed. What is that noise? Is that my phone?
Yep.
So she was super high. She catches someone doing something they're not supposed to. She gets stabbed in the stomach. She's so high, she's not bleeding that much at the time. She thinks, I'm just going to go to the bathroom. I'm going to clean it up, whatever. And then at some point she faints and dies because she's so high. Maybe she doesn't realize she needs medical intervention.
Mm-hmm.
There was also something else I read that, like, you know, she does have several suicide attempts in the past. It's possible that she could have stabbed herself in the stomach, but I don't know.
With that small of a knife in the stomach,
Right.
I feel like that's not like...
I know. That's why I didn't really mention it. Well, I
Yeah.
did just now, but I did not put it in my notes.
So, I mean, even though Sid had like taken all those drugs before, he still went to the methadone clinic to...
He did.
So,
yeah.
and he got his methadone, so he must have not looked...
Must have been kind of with it. But that's the other thing. He had no blood on him at all. None. The only blood in like the whole room was in the bathroom where she was dead.
I mean, he had to know... If he was there, he had to know something if he left, like, between...
He just said that she was like on the floor, but she was still breathing, which, like, living with like an addict, I can imagine there's a lot of falling on the floor and
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna sleep here, you know? I don't know.
But there was blood.
But not a lot. Like at the time. Like if she was stabbed between like 5 and 6 a.m., then he was probably still out of it because he took the Tuinol at like 2 a.m., I think.
Mm-hmm.
That's only like 4 hours later. So he could have still been asleep when she was stabbed. I don't know. There's so many questions.
Mm-hmm.
I just wish it was better investigated because there's so many people that weren't interviewed that know something. And like everybody has a different fucking story.
So, but there was a lot of other people there overnight.
Yes.
Okay.
I believe so. I mean, like I think that they all kind of like left probably around. Yeah, I mean, there were people there that watched him take the Tuinol, so there were people there at the very least until 2 a.m.
Mm-hmm. So any of them could have stole from them.
Right.
Yeah. I just feel like they got into, you know, a violent argument and he did it, and then whatever the dude...
Rockets Red Glare?
flag, yeah.
American flag.
Yeah, he like helped him clean it all up, and he
Oh.
had to go to the methadone clinic.
A helper.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't think about a helper. I don't like that. I don't want to think about Sid doing that. Then again, he was kind of a piece of shit.
I mean, even in like a drug-fueled thing. He, eventually realizes what happens, and he has to go to the methadone clinic to check in.
Well, no, he didn't have to check in at the methadone clinic anymore. Oh, wait. Oh, no, this was before she was murdered. So he didn't have to check in at all. He was just getting her methadone.
Okay.
So that they could both take it. But he wasn't required to check in then. Okay. He was required to check in when he was released from his detox program after she was murdered.
Okay. Maybe he just needed it.
The methadone?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, yeah. They need drugs.
So.
I don't know. It's wild.
Too bad there's not surveillance cameras.
I know, right? 70s! Well, I'm sorry. That was really confusing.
It wasn't.
I was very confused doing the notes. It took me all fucking day. Stupid story with stupid timelines.
Stupid names.
Stupid names. Stupid names. And then I had to get into the band, and I'm like, Tamara's not going to give a shit about the band. Follow us on Instagram, please.
And email us your crazy stories at
fearfulfriendspodcast@gmail.com. Yeah. Also, we have a TikTok thanks to Tamara.
And an Instagram thanks to Rel. Yes. Yep, just look up Fearful Friends Podcast.
We will let you know when we post new episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And when we
get updates on there, updates on our stories. And then just
what's our last update, Tamara?
Tupac Tupac's
alleged
murderer, Keith, the guy he got into the fight with at the MGM after the fight. It's a lot of fighting.
Hey, guess what?
What?
I still don't believe it.
P. Diddy.
They think Diddy didn't do it. I think Diddy did it.
Diddy did it. Did he do it? Diddy did it. Diddy did it. Please don't sue us, P. Diddy. We can't help you.
He doesn't know who we are. We're just little people.
Hey. We're famous. Anyway, rate, review, subscribe, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Right. Love you.
Bye.
Bye.